Black Clover. Chapters 387 to 389, Honest Review Narration. Chapter 387 does not begin like a typical final battle. It does not begin with fear, it begins with certainty. Asta stands not as a boy chasing a dream, but as a man who already understands it. This chapter is about resolve, not power, not scale, not shock. Lucius represents perfection without humanity, a world edited until nothing unpredictable remains. Asta represents imperfection embraced, a life earned through struggle, not design. On first reading, this contrast feels subtle, almost quiet for a final confrontation. On reread, it becomes clear that this is intentional. Lucius does not scream. He does not rage. He speaks like a god who believes the conclusion has already been written, and that is precisely why he loses. Asta and Yuno do not overpower Lucius by breaking the rules. They defeat him by refusing the premise. Lucius believes humans must be corrected. Asta believes humans must be trusted. This philosophical clash is the true battle of Chapter 387. The action exists to support that idea, not to replace it. Yuno fights as someone born blessed. Asta fights as someone born empty. And for the first time, they are not rivals, they are equals. Not equal in power, but equal in conviction. That equality is the emotional heart of the chapter. On first read, it may feel too fast. On reread, it feels clean, focused, intentional. Chapter 388 is where many readers initially felt disappointment, not because it was bad, but because expectations were different. This chapter is not about escalation. It is about convergence. Noelle enters not to dominate the battlefield, but to complete the circle. She is no longer fighting to prove herself. She is fighting because she belongs. Her contribution is brief, precise, almost understated. And that is exactly why it works. Black Clover has always been about growth without spectacle for its own sake. Noelle does not need to steal the moment, she needs to be present in it. Her presence confirms that this victory is not isolated. It belongs to everyone. Lucius begins to crack here, not because he is overwhelmed, but because his model of reality begins to fail. He cannot account for bonds. He cannot account for choice. He cannot account for people who refuse to be optimized. This is the beginning of his end, not in power, but in relevance. Chapter 389 is the chapter that changes everything depending on how it is read. On first read, it can feel too clean, too safe, too forgiving. The restoration of the world, the return of the fallen, the absence of lasting scars. But on reread, the intention becomes clear. This was never a story about sacrifice through loss. It was a story about perseverance through belief. Black Clover is not nihilistic. It never promised tragedy as proof of maturity. It promised hope earned through endurance. Julius' final act is not a reversal. It is a fulfillment. He represents leadership that protects rather than controls. Where Lucius sought to redesign humanity, Julius chose to preserve it. The restoration is not denial of consequence. It is the consequence of choosing the right ideology. Lucius wanted a perfect world without pain, but achieved it through domination. Julius accepted pain and therefore earned peace. Asta does not become Wizard King here, and that is important. Because the story was never about the title. It was about proving that someone with nothing could stand beside those with everything. That promise is fulfilled. What remains unresolved is not character, it is lore. Lucius lacks a full origin. The dwarves vanish from the narrative. Asta's father remains unknown. These are real absences, and they matter. But they are absences of world, not absences of story. The characters are complete, their arcs are closed, their journeys resolve the world. However, was large enough to go on much longer. This is not failure by the author, it is compression by circumstance. Black Clover feels like a long journey that reached the right destination, but took the final turn too quickly. And yet when reread, that final turn feels gentle, respectful, poetic. This ending does not shout. It bows. It does not demand applause. It asks for understanding. And the more you revisit it, the more it gives back. Black Clover chose meaning over myth, people over spectacle, hope over shock. That choice will age well. If this review helped you see the story more clearly, subscribe for more long-form anime and manga breakdowns. Final story rating. After reread. Overall story rating. 8 out of 10 character writing. 9 out of 10. World building potential. 9 out of 10. Final villain execution 6 out of 10. Emotional resolution 8.5 out of 10. Black Clover is not a perfect ending, but it is a sincere one, and sincerity lasts longer than hype.